Welcome to tonight's Sunday Night Yoga. Tonight we're going to be just jumping right in with a flow. And the reason I want to do this is because a lot of times we get on our mat and our mind is still out there. Our mind is still racing, thinking about all the things we got to do and all that kind of stuff. And what I like to do is just jump in with that flow, because then it starts to slow everything down, starts to quiet the mind. Because the goal of yoga is the #1 sutra that you learn is yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. A very easier way of saying is yoga is the calming of the mind. And when we do those poses synced up with our breath, it starts to take us out of that reaction. So I got to deal with this, I got to deal with that. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do that. And what it does is it gets you back more towards yourself, gets you more centered. Because we really are not our thoughts. We really are not all those shiny things that we think we need to take care of, all the squirrel, all that kind of stuff. We really are much bigger than that. And so yoga helps to remind us of that. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. We'll start at a nice tabletop. So let's take our time with our foundation tonight. I'm gonna really spread my hands out, make sure that they're shoulder width apart, right underneath my shoulders. Same with my hips, or my knees are under my hips. So we're going to take a nice inhale in our tabletop, and then we're going to exhale, child's pose. So arms can move out a little farther in front of you if you want. Inhale, tabletop, exhale, downward facing dog. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do every inhale as a tabletop, every exhale alternates between child's pose and downward facing dog. So you might notice when you first start this is that your breath is pretty fast. So go ahead and match the poses with it. And then the more you start to do this flow, you're gonna start to see that the breath starts to slow down. So it's just like a gentle nudge to slow down. It's not like this forceful, like slow down. It's just a nice gentle way of suggesting the body starts to slow the breath. And then once your breath is slowing down, words, then start to feel that expansion. So you're really filling the lungs on that inhale. And then you're really letting everything out of the lungs. A lot of times we jip the exhale, rushing back into that deep inhale. I think I shared with you before, take care of the exhale, because the inhale will take care of itself. So really focusing on letting everything go out of those lungs. Good. Let's do a couple more rounds. It's just so good physically for the body as well to do this. In my downward dog, I'm stretching the back of the leg, the hamstring, Achilles, calves, lower back. Child's pose, I'm getting into my hips. I've got hood issues today. So when we physically do the poses, it starts to tell the mind, you know, let's slow down here a little bit. Don't need to be racing around. Good. Next time that you're in downward facing dog, we will meet there, but no rush. Take your time. Good. Once in downward facing dog, let's go ahead and bend our knees and take those ribs towards your thighs, and then straighten the legs out. Good. Go ahead and walk the feet up to the hands, and we'll stay in a forward fold. If your hamstrings are really tight, feel free to, come over and be by the couch, okay? Blocks are also available to you if you have them, or books. Just take a moment and you start to feel your lower back start to let go here. Starts to find more space in that vertebrae. Good. Bend the knees, come all the way up, hands into chest. Good. I'm going to switch and face you. I'm going to go a little off of center. Got my blocks over here. We're going to move into a balance pose. I love balances because once we kind of get out of our head, then we can kind of bring that focus in. We can bring that into the present moment kind of feeling in with a balance pose. So we'll be doing triangle first, and then we're moving into half moon. So go ahead and take that right leg out. Left foot is facing at an angle, 45-degree angle. And take some time to really find this base, because this is gonna set you up nice for your half moon. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna reach out as far as I possibly can, and then I'm gonna come down. So shin is available to you. Block either in front of the foot or behind the foot. Then once I'm here, I open out my arm and then I twist up. So I'm starting to feel like my torso is going towards the ceiling. My ribs are going towards the ceiling. So triangle has it all, right? Strength, balance, stretching, and a lovely twist. From here, I'm gonna bend into my right leg. I'm gonna take my block in front of me, pretty far, and then I'm gonna raise up into half moon. So I'm balancing on my right leg. Feel free to put a little bend in there. And then I'm gonna bring out, when you change your gaze, you tend to come down. But that's the thing with balance, is don't take it so seriously, right? So I'm gonna set my gaze right here. I'm gonna lift up and really feel like I'm extending my left leg long. When you find that length in the leg, it starts to find balance for you. Good, left leg meets right. Come into a nice forward fold again. Good. No reason to be serious in a balance. Yes, it brings focus into your life, but it is just a balance yoga pose. There's not anything hanging on her, you know. Don't evaluate yourself by balance poses is what I'm trying to say. Attempting the pose is what is the big part of a balance pose. Bend the knees, come all the way up, hands into chest. We'll go ahead and face this direction. I'm gonna put my blocks over here. But before we move into that next triangle, let's take our hands together, up and over our head, and we're gonna go up and over to the left, or your right. All right, as I do this, I'm gonna press into my feet. I'm really engaging my legs, and then I'm gonna feel this really nice side stretch as I do that. Good, come up to the top, and we'll go up and over the other way. Good, pressing into those feet. And you can even kind of rotate up a little bit. Feel a little bit more of a side stretch there as well. Good, come back to the center. Left foot forward. I'm gonna come back a little bit. Right leg, nice behind me. Reach, 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 reach. Then come down. Arm up, and then I'm gonna twist. So even this little bit of a twist is helping with your digestion. It's helping to kind of detox the body. And I'm pressing in to the outside of my right foot as I do this, the back foot. So you kind of feel that outer edge of your foot. If you press into that, you're gonna get more stability, and you're gonna feel that a little bit more in your legs. It's gonna engage your legs. Good. From here, move that block out in front of you. Come on up. If you wanna find a little bit more balance, you can take that block behind you, so you're not necessarily in a straight line. Kind of play around with that. You know, where you put your hand can help with the balance. And one side is always better than the other, it seems like. This is my good balance leg. Should have started with this one. But bring a smile to your face in these balance poses. You know, don't take them, bring some levity to it. Good. Right leg comes down next to left, and come into our nice forward fold. This time, let's take a shoulder stretch. So interlace those fingers behind your back, and then bring those hands forward, just to get a little bit of a shoulder stretch tonight. Good. Release that. We'll go ahead and sit down. Move the blocks off to the side. And we'll get a nice hip opener here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my right leg and I'm gonna cross it over my left. If you're saying to yourself, ooh, that's too much, come down onto your forearms. And then maybe bring that left foot in a little closer. Raise chest up. Okay? If you want to come up a little bit more, you can take fingers away from you. Chest up, heart rising. Okay, another way would be fingers pointed towards you. So you're a little tighter, everything's kind of tighter in here. And look up, chest up. You don't necessarily have to look up, it's just a good reminder to raise the chest. Good. I feel like I'm gripping there too much, so I'm gonna take my hands back where it's a little more comfortable, and then I'm gonna really focus on raising my chest up, and it's wonderful. I feel this wonderful outside of the hips stretch. Good. Bend the elbows, straighten that left leg, and come up into a nice seated. You're gonna see a upside down figure four. Take a nice inhale in, and on the exhale, release legs both out in front of you. And give them a little shake if you want. And then you can sit back and put that left leg over the right leg. Always welcome to come down onto forearms. Raise the chest, or hands away from you, or fingers pointing towards you. And I'm imagining that I'm breathing into my hip here. So I like to feel this really big expansive breath in my hips. And then I feel like it's just kind of like this fog that comes in there, this beautiful cleansing fog, and it just clears everything out. Because we tend to hold a lot of stress in our hips. That's why you see so many hip replacements. And if you can start to do a daily hip stretch, you are going to see great physical health, but you're also going to see great mental health, because it just helps to flush out stress. Good. Bend those elbows, right leg goes straight. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Legs out in front of you. I'm going to move my sit bones behind me, so I feel like I'm coming forward. And then feel free to grab the blocks if you would like. We're going to come into a nice forward fold here. But I want this to be a gentle forward fold, not like the olden days where you just, I'm going to grab my feet and I'm going to get down there. So instead of thinking nose to knee, I want you to think chest to thighs, ribs to thighs. Okay? So get those sit bones out behind you, kind of move around a little bit. Maybe you want to be up here, forearms. Okay? Maybe you want to be a little bit lower. I'm finding that when I use my props, I have to start up high, and then I can kind of, after a few breaths, release a little lower. Okay? But that is, very personal. So if you're just not feeling it today, please stay up here and breathe into your hamstrings. Okay? Something I want to mention is that if you are in a yoga class and a teacher ever offers hands-on assists, go ahead and just try it. Because in this particular case, they would probably come up, put their hand right here, put their hand between my shoulder blades, and then it's very interesting how your body then can relax, release a little bit more into the pose, and you just find it a little differently. So just a fun suggestion if you ever find yourself in a yoga class with a teacher who offers that. Good. Release that, come all the way up. Let's take a nice inhale in staff pose, really lengthening all the way up. Exhale it out. Great. So from here, we're going to come onto our back. We'll go ahead, bring our knees into our chest. And let's do knee circles tonight. So find the direction you want to go, counterclockwise, clockwise. And I want you to take a moment and just check in. How are the thoughts? Are they a little more quiet? Are they a little more in the background? It's okay if they're not. When I first started doing yoga, it would take me about half an hour, 40 minutes. Let's go the other direction before my thoughts would start to soften. And the goal of yoga is not to stop the thoughts, okay? The goal is just to not be the reactor to the thoughts, more of the observer. A phrase my yoga teacher has taught us is That's interesting. When you say that to all these thoughts that come into your head, it kind of takes the drama out, takes that reaction out. All right, feet can come to the mat. We'll come into Shavasana. A variation, if you want to do it tonight, is soles of your feet together in reclined butterfly. And you're welcome to have cactus arms or arms by your side, whatever is comfortable for you, maybe on your solar plexus, maybe on your heart. And then I just encourage you to take 3 deep breaths. Namaste.